his phone. What prosecutors revealed they found in David's phone at his court date today made everybody in the room stomach turn. It was horrifying. This degenerate freak really murdered that.
I'm gonna go ahead and just spill the beans. They found freaky child videos in the nigga phone, man.
Weirdo.
I told y'all. Now you want me to believe that the nigga that paint his nails, wear bonnets every day, has a 13-year-old girlfriend when he's 18 years old, and got a bunch of kid freaky vids on his phone. You want me to believe he didn't kill his 13-year-old girlfriend and cut her body up? That's what you want me to think? No, I don't think that. I think he did it.
FBI, open up!
Come on, bro.
A little girl and thought he was never gonna get caught. He thought he committed the perfect crime. He thought, I mean, there's no evidence.
Gangbangers, listen, unite. Go get that nigga. He better not make it through. Go get that. Go get him.
He cleaned up his tracks good enough. He thought they was never gonna find out. He was never gonna get arrested, and that's evident by how he was moving.
You're not about to tell me
Thought
he
they was
not
never
no
gonna
weirdo.
find out. He was never gonna get arrested, and that's evident.
Brody, what are we talking about, man?
By how he was moving. Celeste was murdered according to officials back in April of 2025. I think she was murdered much longer before then, but if we're going with the official timeline, she was murdered back in April. She wasn't discovered dead until September. He had about 6 months to clean up his tracks, and he thought he did a good enough job. He wasn't officially charged with anything until April of 2026. That means that's the entire year since he murdered Celeste. Now, he knew he was under investigation since September. That means he knew he was under investigation for about 6 months. But, you know, his arrogance didn't really allow him to think that he was gonna get caught, because when he was eventually arrested, this dude has so much evidence on his phone, not of what he did to Celeste, but of other things that you would think that if somebody knew or had expectation they was gonna get arrested for something this horrific and knew their phone was gonna be a pivotal part of this investigation, that they would at least clean up their phone. But this dude was so arrogant and so cocky, he didn't even bother to even touch or erase his phone or erase illegal things from him.
Niggas like him be so sick and weird that they think that they normal. So a lot of times they don't think they doing nothing sick. They forget that everybody else is normal and you the sick motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? The nigga was literally recording his 13, 14-year-old girlfriend and had her on live stream in the Discord and talking about this and that. And he's so weird.
Weirdo.
No! He's so weird. He don't even realize he weird. He think he's just a normal, average, everyday fella.
A hearing just wrapped up for singer David in his first-degree murder case.
The prosecution revealed details about disturbing digital evidence. Let's get to CBS LA's Rick Montanez with what we learned in court today. Rick, what are you hearing?
Amy, Chris, the hearing just wrapped up within the half hour here, and cameras were not allowed in court, but I can tell you that the defendant, David Burke, was in court today in shackles and wearing that orange jumpsuit. The biggest new piece of evidence revealed, prosecutors say a significant amount of child found on Burke's cell phone.
So one thing we can celebrate and rejoice on is we know he going to prison. It might not, even if they, God forbid, but even if they mess up this murder case, folks going to prison. It ain't going to be a good time for him because he locked up in L.A. They going to get his ass. Trust me.
We also want to point out that this all happens one day after the medical examiner's report became public. That is the report on the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The report says, or I should say the family of Rivas Hernandez is absolutely devastated to learn the gruesome details contained in that write-up. That's according to a family statement. So this report says the 14-year-old girl died of sharp force trauma, but the autopsy was difficult because of the severe decomposition of her dismembered body when it was found in the singer's abandoned Tesla last September. Officials say she died 5 months earlier in April of last year. Burke, the suspect known by his stage name David, was arrested last Thursday. On Monday, he pled not guilty to the capital murder charges. We spoke with a former federal prosecutor just a short time ago here on CBS LA Mornings about this new evidence revealed in today's hearing and the fact that David's phone, according
And the fucked up part about it is, from the first time, I didn't know who this nigga was until this case happened. But from the very first time I seen his face, seen how he dressed, seen how he act, I knew everything was true. I knew from that moment. I knew it. It's that time of the year again, tax time, which is always stressful. Maybe you owe back taxes, or you have unfiled returns. Or maybe you pulled money from your 401k and you got an unexpected bill. No matter the reason, the outcome is always the same. Penalties grow. You could owe money to the IRS, not even know it, and have no plan on how you're gonna pay them back. Let me tell you something right now. The IRS is not waiting. They can take your money through wage garnishments, means they can just take money straight out your paycheck. They can seize your properties, and they can file without your consent. But with over 15 years in business, Tax Network USA has seen it all. And they've resolved over $1 billion in debt. Yes, I said 1 billion, my guy. No matter how big or small, they help taxpayers get back on track. And they can do the same for you, but you have to call now. They're offering a free investigation call with the IRS, and after you get off that call, they'll put a clear plan in place for you. Do not wait for another IRS letter. Call 866-418-6263 or visit tnusa.com/Mula, or just click the link below. Taxes is a so you better stay on top of it.
prosecutors contains child.
And obviously, we don't know if it's Celeste Rivas's images and videos or something else, but that is a significant offense. Obviously, it helps prosecutors prove the sex crimes, the lewd and lascivious, Penal Code Section 288, but it's also a separate crime in and of itself. And it's certainly the possibility that the feds even step into this case, because they typically will prosecute these types of child cases.
They described it as a phone full of child porn. Now, am I surprised that this weirdo who's currently on trial for engaging in inappropriate activities with a 14-year-old girl and then murdering her because she was going to reveal it to the world? Am I shocked that that person has a phone full of child porn, have gigabytes of child porn? I'm not surprised at all, not one bit. Bro. Right? Not one bit. I feel like what's even more surprising is that it wasn't deleted or it wasn't gone.
Yeah, but they would have got it anyway.
He really thought he was safe. Like, he really thought it was never coming for him. There's no evidence more clear that he thought he was never going to get caught and he was Teflon Don than his neighbors complaining that he was doing too much partying. And this was happening during the investigation. Like, Celeste's body was found. They went to a grand jury. They was like interviewing people, trying to get a murder's charge on him. And he was at his hideout home in the Hollywood Hills partying and having a good old time while they investigating this little girl's murder.
Then today, NBC4 Investigates obtained surveillance video that appears to show the defense attorney near the police scene minutes later. This afternoon, Blair Burke returned to the home where police arrested the singer and made no comments as she left.
The DA?
One neighbor actually told me that he's relieved that there was an arrest because he said that there have often been parties at this home. I asked if he's heard parties here recently. He said it's an ongoing problem. Either way, on Monday, we're expected to get our first look at David as he's expected in court in person in downtown Los Angeles.
I'm more interested in knowing who the clout whores and monsters were that were still hanging out and partying with this dude.
Exactly.
Because he can't party with himself.
Right.
If there were parties, there were other people there. Who were the people that were still comfortable partying with this dude, knowing like he was under investigation for what he did to Celeste?
One thing I learned, bro, people don't get no fuck for real. That should be capped. Most people don't care. Look how long they let R. Kelly slide. Look how long they let all these people slide, bro.
Even if you want to say, hey, man, I didn't know that he actually murdered her. I thought it was all lies. But you knew he was still having relations with this little girl.
Exactly.
And you were still comfortable partying. The only people who I see really comfortable partying with someone like David are people who believe they are like David, or people who have similar interests or secrets like David. Which is why I believe, man, even if we can't prove that anybody at that party actually did something, man, they need to be under investigation. Like, they need to be put on a registry, man.
His brother.
David friends. We need to know who his friends were so people can stay away from him, bro. Because it's not like they was partying with him before her body got discovered. No, right? These were parties that started happening after David came back to L.A. after going to Texas briefly to hide out. This was in the middle of the investigation. There needs to be a list of names that are part of David's entourage and his network of people. Because I'm not buying David is doing all these things
by
alone.
himself. No.
The same way they try to get us to buy that he murdered Celeste by himself.
No.
That Celeste came over to his house on, I think, April 23rd or 24th, and he murdered her, and then she was never to be seen again, and he's the one who did all of this by himself. I'm not buying that, bruh. Especially after I seen the autopsy report and found out exactly what happened. I don't think David was able to do this himself, then hop on a plane the next day to go and party and have an album rollout and start his tour, and nobody was there to help him either hide his body, chop up this body, dismember this body, and hide it for him. I don't think David, who was on an
But think about it. The same niggas that's hanging around him, that's allowing him, that's with him, that knows he's dating this little ass girl, the same niggas around him is the same people who he had helping him. So of course they not gonna say nothing. They just as fucking weird. The only people that, like Flock just said, the only people that'll be partying with a nigga like David is the type of person who sees David and be like, oh, I'm kind of like him, so it's cool. You know what I'm saying? You would never see a lawyer partying with street niggas. Because the lawyer is gonna look, he gonna see, them niggas on something I'm not really on, so I'm gonna go do my thing over here. You get what I'm saying? But you ain't gonna see no lawyer or no doctor in the middle of a party with nothing but gangbangers, killers, and drug dealers and robbers and drug dealers. And like, that's just, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna do that. He not even gonna come around. He not gonna feel comfortable. So if you feel comfortable around a nigga like David, that's because you're a nigga like David.
The tour was actively hiding and moving Celeste's body all across Los Angeles County, bruh.
Just received the autopsy report from the medical examiner in Celeste Rivas's death, for which David is now charged with her murder. And there are some interesting things, and we talked about this before, that we knew that the coroner had ruled this, the medical examiner ruled this a homicide, but we didn't know the cause of death. And the DA said they were stabbed, there was some kind of sharp
instrument was used.
Now we know, and what they're saying is there were two wounds in particular, and that they believe, and they use the word may, and the word may is going to be really important, which we'll talk about, that they may be penetrating wounds, which would not be wounds to dismember a body.
Right, yeah, because of where they are, they believe, is, I think, the main, and also
and the way they describe it is they describe two penetrating wounds, one on the abdomen and one on the chest, and they describe them as, they tell you the depth and the length of these, and they say they have smooth edges. Indication seems to me that some sort of knife was plunged into her, and it left smooth edges. The key is the length of the wounds. One is 3/4 of an inch, one is 9/16. So this size wound as the penetrative wound. These are which not is an indication of the length of the blade. And also a blade that could not dismember a body, right? This would not be the same instrument used to dismember the body. Now, the body was dismembered. They describe all that in detail, but those types of cuts to take the body apart would be different than
does the report say anything about the dismemberment or what they believe was used?
They don't say what was used.
No, it does describe it in a lot of detail.
But it's gruesome.
Yeah.
I don't know what your religion is, but this case is proof that some of us didn't come from heaven. Now, we gotta give that up, man. I don't think God had created all of us, man.
Nah, for real.
I think the devil had a hand in some of us being created.
Yeah.
Because anybody who is capable of this, truly imagine what just happened here.
I can't imagine it.
First off, to take somebody's life by a knife.
Before you take somebody's life, bro. Before you took his life, he was dating a little ass girl. Publicly. He wasn't even really hiding it. That's how you know a nigga's a real weirdo, because it's impossible to hide. Like, it's one thing to be a weirdo at night, regular dude by day, because it's like, okay, you hiding it a little bit. Maybe you do some weird shit sometimes. Don't make it no better, but hey, maybe you just I feel like everybody is a little weird in their own way, right? But to be a true
weirdo,
and you dating this little, it's not like he's 18 and she's like 16 or 17, because that's not really weird to me. It's not like he's 19 and she's 17 or 18, because that's not weird. But he's 18 and the little fucking girl is 13 years old. Like, that is something wrong with you. You're sick, bro. You're sick. The fact that you looked at this little ass girl and said, and got turned on, that's sick, bro. The girl is not even developed. The girl is nothing. You a grown man. There's nothing about a 13-year-old girl that should be any type of attractive to you at all. Not even like at all, bro. So the fact that you was dating her, you had her running away from home, you sneaking her backstage in your concerts, you got her in and out your cribs, you streaming with her on Discord to your Discord fans and all this weird shit. You're talking about, you're saying her name in songs, you're making songs called Romantic Homicide, you're selling t-shirts with fake blood on them. And then you killed the girl and cut her body. Do you know how sick of a motherfucker you gotta be to sit there and cut up a dead body? Come on, gang. This is fucking insane.
You gotta have some level of like psychoness in you, bruh.
Yes.
To take somebody's life with a knife is quite possibly one of the most personal things you could ever do. It's traumatic.
Right.
It's not easy.
Right.
You are feeling their life leave their body with each and every stab. He still will be a disturbed human being if he would have did it by shooting her. Or, I don't know, drugging her. But
He's
to
just making
do
it
it with
worse.
a knife
Yeah.
and to feel that person's soul leave their body, it does something to the average person, bruh.
To the average
The fact that this dude was able to hop on a plane, go ahead and party, have a good old time laughing,
he's a damn
great
demon.
poker face as if nothing happened the day before.
He's a demon.
Then come back and hop on tour and have a tour.
Demon.
And he's playing with coffins at like his like tour dates.
Demon.
Playing with blood-filled shirts at his tour dates. Singing songs like Romantic Homicide that essentially describes what happened, but the music was filmed before. The fact that his mental was able to handle all of this tells me this is not a normal human being.
I knew he wasn't normal too, because like, think about his reaction after it. Like, even in court, you don't see him breaking down crying. He calm as hell. He ain't saying nothing. You don't see him, you ain't never seen him on Twitter like, I would never kill nobody, let alone that girl. Like, I was just trying to take care of the girl because her dad, it's nothing like that. There's no explanation for it at all. Like, if you didn't kill, if somebody accused you watching, not you, nigga, you. If somebody accused you of killing a little girl, you gonna be like, what? Like, I would never kill no little girl like that. Like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? The first thing you gonna do is be like, boy, y'all got me fucked up. What type of person y'all think I am to be dating, not let alone dating a girl, but y'all think I killed her too? Are y'all sick? The little girl was just my fan, or what? Like, the fact that he never said nothing like that before, I knew he was not only guilty, which I think he guilty, but it also made me feel as if it's something wrong with this nigga, gang. He's a real demon devil man. Dead serious. Like, folks got some Satan in him.
This is somebody who we truly have to acknowledge in the likes of like Ted Bundy.
Yes.
Because when you see him interact with other people, rather it's on stream or during these interviews, he's soft-spoken.
Yes.
He's charming, has a bright smile.
Yes.
We truly have to start considering, David might be like Ted Bundy.
Yes. And he might have more bodies,
able to do this so easily.
He might have more bodies.
If he was able to conceal this little girl's death for so long, imagine who else he did it to. Exactly. If y'all think that, after hearing what you're about to hear, of limbs being missing, fingers being cut off, if you think that Celeste is his only body, I think y'all are out of y'all mind.
That's what I was talking to my wife about yesterday. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Celeste was not his only murder, because think about how it kind of starts to feel like he got too confident. He got too comfortable with murdering people, and he got too comfortable with killing people to the point where he just left the car. No, don't worry about it, man. Fuck that. I ain't gonna get caught. I did this 100 times, man. Just leave the body in there. We're gonna come back when we on tour and handle it. That's kind of how I feel. Because if this your first murder, usually serial killers don't get caught for their first murder. You get what I'm saying? Or not saying he a serial killer, but damn near, you might be. But that's allegedly. But like, Usually people who do something, you don't get caught your first robbery. You don't get caught the first time you steal something from the grocery store. You don't get caught the first time you scam a bank or the first time you steal some money out your mama purse or whatever you do. Like any crime you do, you're not usually getting caught the first time you do it. And if you do it for the first time, ain't you gonna be overly cautious? It's not weird to y'all that this nigga had the girl dead body sitting in his car outside of his house? That sound like a nigga who got too comfortable with killing people. Bloodhound Lil Jeff started snitching on himself, but he didn't start snitching on himself after the first murder. He had some murders already. He had bodies already before he started snitching on himself and getting comfortable and feeling like that man. And you know what I'm saying, though? Same thing with Jeffrey Dahmer. He had killed a lot of people before he started leaving bodies in the room with him and this, that. You get what I'm saying?
There's a word that's used, may, that it may have been caused by this. The defense is going to jump on that.
Oh, they'll definitely.
Because they're not saying it's conclusive, and it aligns with what we've been hearing, which is they were having a really hard time determining how she died.
Well, look at the passage of time.
As recently as February.
Yeah. The passage of time to determine this is a long, it's many, many months.
There's also, and it's conflicting, and we still can't quite figure it out, but there are references to finding presumptive positive indications that she had both meth and MDMA in her system.
Although additional screenings showed that to be not detected, but the initial screen said presumptively.
It seems like there were two tests taken, two tox screens. The initial one detected MDMA and methamphetamine. Subsequently, they did a confirmation test, and it was unclear whether there was MDMA, but there was methamphetamine, but no sign of MDMA at that second confirmation test.
I mean, ultimately, is that going to matter when you get to trial, like whether or not she was probably on any drugs?
Well, they may argue. They may argue it was an overdose. I don't know what they're going to argue, but they'll latch onto what they can.
That's true.
Yeah. But look,
it was an overdose. They're going to argue that she overdosed and then stabbed herself, and then cut her body up.
The O.J. Simpson case. The coroner was on the stand for 8 days in that case. So this is going to be the centerpiece of the case because, you know, what the DA is saying is we have evidence she threatened David.
Look how
that
regular and calm
she would
he is.
expose
That nigga
their
is sick,
relationship, probably in a text. That's the way they make it seem. And that she goes to David's house on April 23rd, 2025, never to be seen again.
Right.
So now the question, what happened? So the prosecutor is going to say he stabbed her to death, and here are these 2 wounds. And then you're going to have the defense coming out and saying, look, number one, you didn't say conclusively, you're saying may, and this is a reasonable doubt case.
The medical examiner also released their reports, and I'll be real, bro. Seeing this, man, I don't see how anything other than a death penalty is appropriate here, bro.
Nah, for real.
So they confirmed 2 things. She was missing both arms above the elbows and both legs above the knees. Now, underneath the body bag was a black trash bag that contained the descendants' apparent compiled bilateral arms and legs. They appear to have been dismembered into several fragments. The descendant was in an advanced state of decomposition demonstrated by foul odor, discoloration, liquefaction. Notice approximately 1-inch linear defect on her abdomen and circular defect on her left flank. Now, the left ring and pinky fingers appear to have been mutilated. So this dude probably kept this as a trophy, man. What a weirdo. And I did not locate them during my scene examination, so they're missing. They're gone. Right. She has a tattoo that reads shh on the side of her right index finger. I did not observe any discernible scars or tattoo. I don't even want to know what that weirdo and sicko is doing with those fingers.
Think about it. I think it's a lot of shit hitting me at one time. But think about, bro, if they say he killed her in April, and they found the body in September, that means he had May, June, July, August, and most of September. He had 5 months. What the fuck are you doing with the body after 5 months? Like, yeah, you got to be sick to kill the little girl. You got to be sick to do any of this shit. It just makes it sicker and sicker the more details you hear. Because, like, okay, like, it doesn't make it too much better. But, like, let's say he would have killed her and buried her body the next day. Okay, he's still sick as hell. But you see the difference, though? Like, I don't know. It doesn't really matter because either way, it still would have been fucked just as sickened. But it just I don't know.
His next court date is in like a week or two, so we're gonna keep on covering this. Let me know in the comment section, what are you guys' thoughts, man? Why do y'all think he did this, bruh? Because to me,
I think
can't just be that she was gonna out him. Because there's other things like bribery, like you could, but to just murder this girl in the. Yo, let me know in the comment section.
I think he was sick. I think he if y'all know, he was obsessed with true crime. He was obsessed with gore. Gore turned him on. Gore made his card, bro. So what type of nigga? We dealing with a type of nigga who's selling all white t-shirts with fake blood smeared on them. That's his merch. He got songs called Romantic Homicide, and he got fake animes that he made up in his room, where he killed people at night and then wake up and be the police and look for the murderer. Whole time the murderer is him. Just weird. Just a weirdo. Just a complete weirdo. Just weird. I think he was a weirdo. He seemed like a Jeffrey Dahmer type nigga to me. He seemed like he was one of them kids that was in the backyard killing squirrels and cutting them up and shit. Like he just seemed like, if his mama ever talk about it, he just seemed like a weird, sick nigga, bro. Period. And the fact that his mama and his dad, basically was harboring a fugitive pretty much. Because as soon as the girl body was found, he went back to his mama house in like Houston or somewhere in Texas, and he put like all his assets in her name. So the fact that y'all even like supporting y'all son, I don't give a fuck about what nobody talking about. It's certain shit that, God forbid, ever, like, I feel like it's certain shit that as a parent you should disown your kid for. And a grown having a son who's 18, 19 years old, and he dating this 12, 13-year-old girl, and he been dating her since she was 11, and now she 13 and she 14, and she ran away from home, and she stay at his house, and she be at his shit, then she end up dead in his car in front of his house, and you let your son back in the house? No. All y'all motherfuckers weird. The brother weird. He was helping his little brother sneak this little girl in and out of shows. And all y'all motherfuckers, lock them all up, gang. I ain't gonna lie.